Hello, welcome or welcome back to Italian Oraculum. I'm Danilo, and today I wanted to take a look at Mother Mort's Carnival of Souls Oracle from Matt Hughes. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. And this is the exclusive edition, but I also have the US Games one. So what's the difference? First of all, the US Games edition can be bought anywhere you find US Games products, of course, while the exclusive edition you need to go to the Ethereal Visions publishing site and you need to order it basically directly from the creator. Uh, this version is officially sold only in the US, but I managed to get one copy by messaging directly the creator and telling him I really liked the Oracle and I really hated missing on the alternative cards which are present only in this version of the deck. So I I was lucky enough to get a copy here. Now, starting with the differences, the boxes are identical when it comes to their shape and their sturdiness. The thing you can notice is a change in color for the font and a little bit of a different shade or even a different tone of the same dark green for the background. In real life, this looks a little bit greener, this looks a little bit black in comparison. The font, the skull and the moth are this off-white, almost a bone color, uh, while here it's an almost acid lime green. I think it's a little bit toned down to be an actual acid green or lime green or fluorescent green, but still in that vein. And there is a slight difference in texture because the metallic accent on this box is slightly raised, so you can feel it under your finger, while here, if you really pay attention, you can feel that the metallic part is a little bit smoother maybe, but it's very minimal. Another change is the barcode. It's underneath in the special exclusive edition, while it is on top for the US Games one. And of course you have the back, which is very different. In here we have a different presentation compared to here. Also we can see some of the cards, the book, the little white book for the actual deck, and of course the US Games company info here and the Ethereal Vision Publishing logo on the other version. And this color is essentially the same color they used here. Now, aside from that, I can tell you that the books are different when it comes to their covers, because in the US Games version it's a lighter green, sort of not exactly a mossy green, it's like a leaf green distressed with black. That's the feeling. And on the back you have the US Games logo and it's plain, while on the exclusive edition, we have a darker cover, and again the Ethereal Visions publishing here, and there is the metallic accent on the back as well, and there is another blurb. Other than that, they are identical on the inside, both end pages and the ribbon. So with both versions you get a ticket for the Carnival of Mother Mort, and of course you get the deck. Now another little difference is the booklet for the Oracle. So the distinctive thing about these cards is that you get a short story in this book about this girl visiting this carnival. It is a horror, dark, creepy themed deck, a Victorian-ish era, that sort of ambience. So very, very distinctive, and you can see that the booklets are different in cover, but are exactly the same when it comes to their measurements. Now I would call this a little white book, aside from the fact that it's not very little and white, but inside you get a backstory of the character on the card and the interpretation for the oracle itself, and you get a couple of pages regarding the introduction, how to use the deck, how to care for it, and a little bit about the spread based on 3 cards in different versions. And even if in this deck, the exclusive edition, you get 3 characters drawn twice, because they present a more human, or we could say normal face, they also have a more beastly, more creepy version, but they don't change as oracle meanings. So the function of the deck is the same whether you have the exclusive edition or if you have the regular one from US Games. Now, what I would say it's nice is the little message here, which is a bonus card, if you will, because you have the same back that there is on the others, and then the cards themselves. Now, as a deck, it's not very many cards, it's 33, 36 if you have the exclusive edition, but again, it's just because you theoretically should choose one of the 2 options for those 3 specific cards. The edging is the same, the backs are exactly the same. Both decks are have quite flexible cards, and they are linen finished, so you have maybe on the darker side you can see it a little bit better, they have the teeny tiny grid as a texture, which creates pockets of air so they can slide on top of each other with more ease, and therefore you should be able to shuffle your deck more easily and smoothly, and keep your cards intact for longer. Now, here's Jane, which is our protagonist, which apparently at the end becomes part of the carnival. The bottom of the box is the same for both versions of the deck, and you can see we have the orange metallic accents here on the back, while on the front we have the green ones. And these are, as I said, creepy, unsettling maybe characters, or mythological creatures themed with circus motif. I like the King of Crows with the roll up behind his back. So there is an animal, there are again people with something weird or a peculiarity, like the outstanding Lady Makahira, which is a sword swallower, the Lightbringer, which is kind of creepy because of all the, how do you call this? The wax melted and solidified that forms this sort of veil over her face. Ludas the Wag is the first character which we have in both versions, both a more human and one that looks a little bit more like a troll or a orc, a goblin. Mirror Mary, which looks a bit like a green version of Bloody Mary. I suppose it's classified as an urban legend, that one. This card is the only one that kind of gives me, I don't want to say problem, I want to say I want to read about these two, Molly and Wally, in the book, because with the flogger and the elephant I don't feel too confident that she doesn't use the flogger on the elephant. I hope she uses it on people that try to touch the elephant without permission, honestly. if I'm completely honest with you. We have Morrigan, the Great Queen, which I don't know because I haven't read the book, I haven't used the deck yet. I don't know if she's the goddess or she's one of these weird, creepy characters, and this is like a stage name because she has something similar to the actual Morrigan, the Celtic goddess, Mother Mort herself. We also have seen Maiden Mort and Crone Mort, so she's like this triple goddess figure maybe. I'm not even trying to pronounce this name. Nuclea V. One-eyed Jack that seems to look like the ringleader. I really love the puppeteer. Professor Simberg, the artist, which, I mean, between the face and the teeth attached to his arm and the name that is the nickname, the artist, and the fact that he's dressed as a old-time surgeon, is possibly the scariest being of them all. I mean, even the Sandman with the eyes instead of the sand inside the bag is creeping me less than the Doctor. The Siren is the other card which is presented in two different versions here in the exclusive edition. In the US Games one, you only have this more human looking face and not the predatory one. But I mean, sirens are predators. The Amazing Sluag, Sphinx, And Wormtongue is the last character which is presented to us twice. In the US Games version you only have the raven or crow, and in here you also have this sort of harpy version of the character. But I would say at the end of the day, whichever version of the deck you get is going to be beautifully produced. Yes, of course, in the US Games version you also have the teeny tiny like copyright here. So very teeny tiny, you almost don't see it, and I honestly didn't really notice the first time I opened the box and took a look at the back, so it's not something that should bother anyone. But at the end of the day, the difference is an aesthetic one. Now, you may be a huge fan of Matt Hughes, so you may decide to take the exclusive edition because, of course, you buy it directly from him and therefore it's a greater support to his work. You could do what I did and get both versions because you have a problem with collecting cards. Divination themed or adjacent or cards designed for divination, whether it is a tarot or oracles or Sibylla style decks or Lenormand or whatever. Or you could choose to buy the US Games version because of availability. Again, aside from those three cards, the differences are minor and mostly aesthetic. When it comes to the three cards, I mean, depending on how you want to see those characters, how you want them to communicate with you, you may find more useful the more human or animal or the more monstrous version. That's up to you. But because of the small number of cards, this deck I don't believe can be used on its own during an actual reading. I believe it's the kind of oracle which functions perfectly combined with other decks, so you may decide to use it with other oracles from Matt Hughes because of the art styles, and each deck responds to specific questions or communicate different advices. Or you could use as a starting point for a reading and then use a tarot or another kind of deck to keep going, or you could do it the other way around. So have your reading with your tarot card or your playing cards or whatever, and then use one, two, three, maybe five at most of these cards to give you an advice, to give you something more, to color a little bit more your reading. But I'm really happy with my purchase of both decks because I really wanted the exclusive edition because of the other three cards, and I can choose to pair the two different decks with two different tarot or use them again in conjunction with other decks, so it's not necessarily one deck to keep in my collection and never use and one to work with. I'm probably going to work with both. And because I have the two versions of those three characters in here but not in here, I could pick the more monstrous version of them for this deck, so I have at least a little bit of variety. I'll see. Anyway, thank you for watching. I invite you to subscribe to my channel. I would love to receive comments. If you enjoyed the video, leave me likes. Please remember, that I'm Italian and not an English native speaker. So if sometimes I make mistakes, I apologize. I'll try to do better. You are more than welcome to let me know in the comment section down below. Just please be kind. Also, if you perhaps feel the need to schedule a reading with me, you'll find my email address in the description of the video. And so we can I just said it, we can schedule it. Okay. Also, there's my handle of Instagram if you want to follow me there as well. Thank you again for watching. See you next time. Bye.